A sneaker shop scammed me for $600? Yep, you heard it correctly. A sneaker shop scammed me for $600. I'm not gonna say the name of the sneaker shop. I know people are probably like, just say it. I just don't want to say it just because it's in the past. But I will say this, it is a sneaker consignment shop in Dallas, Texas. So if you're familiar with the Texas area or you live in Dallas, you're pretty familiar with what shop that is. But I personally will never mess with them again. So I'm gonna tell you my story just because I want people who are younger people or people who have never sold with a consignment shop and kind of give you into detail on how that works and how you can get scammed by them. I'm not saying every sneaker shop, every consignment shop does this. I'm just saying just always be on the lookout. You gotta kind of look after yourself sometimes, because at the end of the day, if somebody can get over on you, they're gonna get over on you, and that's just what it is. Or sometimes it's not even intentionally, but it happens. So I'm gonna tell you how this happened and just to cover your own self up. So basically I went to Dallas in May, which is about 6-7 months ago from now. I went to Dallas just to go with my girl. I don't remember why we went, but we went, and they have a sneaker consignment shop like out there, like I said. And it was really relatively new at the time, so I wanted to go ahead and drop off some stuff. They do have other locations, so I had heard about it before, and it's really well known. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go drop off some stuff over there. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had 8 pairs of shoes that I was gonna drop off. I'm gonna go down the list and show you, and here's a piece of paper showing that they gave me, showing what I left there to keep track of it. So this is the paper showing what I left there. Jordan 13 Bread Low, Jordan Double Nickel. Keep in mind, all this stuff is dead stock. Just dead stock, that stuff that I had that I never wore that I just wanted to get off. Reebok K-Dots, so Kendrick Lamar K-Dots, Jordan 13 Reflective, Jordan 3 Blue, Sport Blue, Adidas Ultra Boost, Highest in the Body, Barcelona 7s, and Wolf Grade 3s. So nothing too crazy, nothing like major that, you know, it was a bunch of like random stuff. Most of the stuff I was selling for retail just to get my money back because I just never wore it. So I took it over there, they signed the paperwork, they said, okay, we're gonna sell it, we'll get your PayPal transaction number, we'll get your address so we can send you a check. They're like, how do you want to get it? I'm like, I'll get a check. So they were gonna send me checks. So about a week and a half goes by and I get my first check for $191, which was like, cool. A week went by and they already sold a pair of shoes, everything was going smooth, so it sent me $191. Great. Fast forward about 2-3 weeks later, I get another check in the mail for $357, about a month and a half later. So I'm like, cool, they sent me about 2 checks. By this time, about 2 months has passed and I really, I've been really busy with work and the whole YouTube thing and just doing a lot of things that I really forgot what I had left there, honestly. Because as a consignment shop, I trusted them to pay me everything they needed to pay me. So another month goes by, so now we're about 3 months in and I called them, I'm like, yo, what's up, where's my, I know I left a little bit more things there, has everything sold? And like, actually everything's sold. I'm like, great, that's cool. It took 3 months, but it took a little longer than I expected, but they did sell everything for me, so I'm like, cool. How am I gonna get paid? And they're like, well, we can send you a check. I'm like, all right, cool, go ahead and send me a check. I'll wait for it. About a week goes by. Keep in mind, there in Dallas, was only 3 hours away, so to send a mail, it should only take about a day or 2 to get to me. But I gave them a week, so they gave me a week went by. I think like a week and a half went by, and I still hadn't received anything. So I was like, okay, why hadn't I received anything? So I called them. They never pick up the phone. Ever pick up the phone. I called them so many times, they never pick up the phone. So they actually have another location. I called the other location transferred me to that store, and I was like, yo, y'all supposed to send me some money, and I never received it. And I don't know how much I was supposed to be receiving because every time they paid me, it just was a flat amount. Like, it never said, oh, you're getting paid for this shoe or this shoe. It's just like, here goes the money, which is a bad thing on their behalf because it made it hard for them to keep track of what had sold and what hadn't sold. And I made it hard for me because I had no idea what was selling and what wasn't selling. They were just sending me a check, and I was just saying, okay. So call them, like, oh, we should have sent it, we'll show you again. So they sent it again. Never received it again. So a week goes by, I call them again, I'm like, yo, I never received anything yet. Getting kind of tired of waiting for a little while. And they're like, oh, I don't know what's going on, we're having problems with our money, the distribution of our money and stuff like that, so we're gonna go ahead and try to do it again, but you want us to try to send it through PayPal. I was like, yeah, if you can get it. He's like, yeah, it might be faster through PayPal, so let's just go ahead and do that. Got all of my information down, wrote it down, they gave it to them, and they're like, alright, cool, you should be getting it about a day or two. Day or two goes by. Nothing. So at this point, I'm like, come on, guys. Like, I'm being patient. I'm waiting for my money. Y'all told me about 3 weeks ago that the money was there. All my stuff is sold. What's hard about paying me? Y'all got paid. Like, let me get paid. So, nothing. So I leave it alone. Everything goes by. and I called them again. Like I said, they never pick up the phone. That was like the most annoying part of the process. Like I really I was annoyed about the money, but honestly, them not picking up the phone just made it even worse. So I leave it alone, and we move on. Now we're about 4 months into the shoes being there. And I call them again and again and again, and I tell them, where's my money, where's my money? And they're like, sorry, we're having problems. And then they pay me the last payment. They're saying, okay, we're gonna send you the past payment. And I got it. And I was expecting it was gonna be higher than that. But at this point, it's already 4 months in, and I forgot what I left there. I didn't have this paper because 4 months later, I have no idea what I did with the paper. I barely can remember what I did yesterday. So I had no idea where this paper was. The checks, I had no idea where they were. Till one day, I was sitting on my MacBook, and I was editing some videos or on the computer or something, and I was cleaning out my wallet. So they had paid me 3 times, and it was a total of $900, and they said that they were done. I was like, okay, and I trusted them because they were a sneaker consignment shop. I didn't think they would want to pull anything over on me. I thought they would want to have me as a loyal customer and continue to drop off stuff with them. As it is, I still was on good terms, even though it took a while for them to pay for me. But once I found this out, I was like, okay, I'm not messing with them again. So I found this paper. The paper said I was supposed to get paid $1,542 for everything I left there. I added up the 2 checks and the PayPal transaction, and it only equaled up to $900. So long story short, they scammed me for $600. It was like $597 they still owe me. And I was like, yo, where's my money? So I knew how long it took them to just send me that last transaction, and they told me they owed me. So now that they're saying that they've done paying me off, when I called them, they're like, no, we don't owe you any money. I was like, I have the proof showing that y'all owe me $500. Like, no, we don't owe you money. It got to the point where I was calling the other store. They have 3 locations, calling each one of the stores, trying to get something out of them. Nobody wanted to pay me. I called them and called them. I asked to speak to managers, bosses. Then some of them would say on the phone, yeah, we're gonna pay you. We figured it out. We do owe you. And then some of them would be like, no, we don't owe you. We checked our records and it shows that you paid. Then I would ask them, what shoes did y'all pay me for? And they would have no idea what shoes sold and what shoes I even left there. So it was just a big, huge mess with them. Like, they had no idea what was going on. So I literally just got paid that last check 2 weeks ago, and we're already in December. So it took them about 7 months to fully pay me. And the problem that I'm saying that I got scammed was that if I didn't have this paper and I didn't have these 2 checks and that 1 transaction online from PayPal, I would have just said okay and trusted them and been like, okay, y'all paid me $900, I'm cool, and I would have left it alone. It just happened to be that I found this paper showing that they owe me $1,500 and not $900. So I was pretty pissed that they were trying to, I don't know if they did it intentionally or they do that to a lot of people, but when I went to their Google Yelp account, it was just filled with people just bashing them about the same problem. And like I said, it's not every consignment store. My thing was just be careful, keep track of your paperwork whenever you do something like that, because at the end of the day, they might not try to be getting over on you, but they got a lot of stuff going on, or they probably are trying to get over on you and they want to just say, oh, we paid you off, and you forgot by that time. Especially me being 7 months in, I completely forgot what I left there by the time they paid me that last payment. So I basically told them, if y'all don't pay me that last $600, I'm gonna have to take legal action. And then because I had already been arguing for them 2 months to get that last $600, and they still didn't want to pay me. Finally, I got a hold of one of the big bosses of the company, and he was like, okay, we'll look into it. They looked into it, and at this point, I was like, I don't even want to hang up the phone. I'm going to stay on the phone. Y'all figure it out what y'all need to do, and y'all need to pay me, or else I'm going to take legal action and see where that goes. So I talked to the guy. He was like, all right. They finally decided to pay me my $600, and it's not like I was in the wrong, because they owe me. Like, if it was $100 or $20 or anything under $100, I probably wouldn't have said anything. I would just be like, screw it, I take that L, whatever. But it was $600. Like, that's a pair of Yeezys V2s. Like, that's how much they go for now. So it just had me pretty pissed that's how they take care of their customers. And I really wanted to make this video because a lot of consignment shops are popping up everywhere in, you know, bigger cities, and kids are not familiar with what's going on, and they might take their 10 pairs of shoes and they might only get paid for 5, and then you don't know. So what I'm saying is that if you're dropping off shoes, just keep the paperwork, just keep track of it and stay on top of it. Because if you let it wait out too long and you don't pay attention to what's going on, it could happen like me. And if you lose the paperwork, you're just gonna believe them, and there's no way for you to prove it. And luckily I had that paper and all the check stubs to prove that they hadn't paid me yet. But it really sucked dealing with that whole process for the past 7 months to get my money. Like, I honestly could have just sold them by myself at that point. probably even for more. Like I said, I was selling them for retail. Some of them I was selling even less than retail. Like the Wolf Grade 3s that were dead stock, sold them for, I think retail was $170. I sold them for like $140 dead stock. Like I was giving them deals, and it's like for them to do that to me, it was just kind of like crappy. So I won't be dealing with them. I will probably I've dealt with other consignment shops here in Austin. I've never had that problem, but just that one. And I just wanted to let you guys know, just be very careful on what you're doing and who you're selling, and keep track of your paperwork, guys. But anyways, enough of me talking and rambling. I'm out, guys. Much love. Thanks for watching. Peace.